Okay, so let's talk about the pickleball tournament.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So we coordinated 34 teams.
Yep.
Times 2. So that would be 68.
Yep.
68 people.
That was a great venue for like pickleball. All those courts are great. And the little setup next to it for people to lounge and the people to watch the games. You could totally watch them. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to the Plaza for building something that I think is unique to downtown and fun and well done.
Yeah.
I would go back and play over there again.
Yeah, totally.
Hang out at the pool, have a few drinks, play some pickleball, lounge in the shade, and so forth. So, yeah, Plaza crushed it, I think.
Yeah, they did.
So we hired a gentleman that was extremely kind to help facilitate the pickleball
through the Plaza
tournament component because I don't have a clue on how to put that on, and I didn't want to have 34 teams walking up to me and going, "Where do I go next? Who do I play next?"
Right.
And then me not having all the right answers, and then just kind of tainting the
and having it
experience.
feel unorganized. You know.
Yes, having it feel unorganized. So we decided to hire a guy to do that. It was quite funny because as I'm sitting there listening to him call out all of the teams and courts, and I'm like, I'm confused.
Right.
But I'm like, I also don't know this space.
Yeah, so you're like, maybe I'm just confused.
Yeah, maybe I'm just confused. And then he's like, okay, go. And I look at the crowd because I'm standing next to him and he's facing the crowd. We're facing the crowd. And I look at the crowd and I just start seeing the crowd looking at the guy next to him.
Looking at each other confused.
I'm like, oh my God, this is bad.
Yeah.
It's the first whack at this and it's falling. It already fell apart. So I think everybody kind of figured out where to go. But as soon as I'm positioned, I look at Crystal and I go from a court because I'm playing and I go, Crystal, you have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And she looks back at me like,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I know nothing about pickleball or brackets.
Right. And in a matter of 20 minutes, I see her. She's got a clipboard. Our boy Nick has got a clipboard, and the gentleman that we hired is no longer in charge. And Crystal's literally running the entire tournament.
Yeah, I did do that.
So you taught yourself how to do it. Had the nuts, the balls, the bravery to facilitate it all. And I think you absolutely crushed it.
Thank you.
So well done.
I was pretty proud of myself.
You should have been.
Well, it's hard because the poor guy, he didn't expect, 68 full testosterone, crazy competitive guys to show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and then when I took over, I'm like, okay, this is how I'm doing it. And, half the people there are all alphas and they're like, you should do it this way. I was like, this is the way I know how to do it. I'm not changing it. You could have given me your opinion before this whole started, but now it's done.
Yeah.
And no. And then it's like, oh, okay. But they just can't help themselves but try to tell how to do it better. And I'm like, I can't take 30 opinions on how to do it better. I just had to do it my way. Now I know for next time, That's
something that I live my decision-making life by a lot is I basically have the plan in my mind on what I want to accomplish and how I want to run something. And if I ask for opinion, 99% of the time, the opinion
is not going to be the same as yours.
Is thrown to the wayside. No, but the reason I still ask is that 1% of the time, someone will bring an opinion that is of real value. And I'm like, oh, I'll incorporate that too. But you have to be willing to go. You have to be brave enough to ask for opinions, and then be brave enough to go, no.
Yeah, you
no.
do that.
But you still ask because you never know. I mean, there's been many times where I go, hey, what's your thoughts? And half the time it's like, okay, I'll stick with my original plan. But the other half, it's like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That was a really good point. But you got to have, because you could use the alternative type of person that asks for opinions and then they're fucking so scatterbrained.
Well, then they can't even make a decision because they have too many.
Yeah, now they have too many opinions.
I do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't do it on the pickleball day.
No, because I was freaking out.
Sometimes that's the funny thing about pressure. I'd love to be able to perfect not having to be the best version of myself unless pressure is involved. I'd like to not have to do it that way. But man, yeah, you put me under pressure, and
Yeah.
and I'm the greatest version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually what ended up happening, because I came in second place, and just that competitive level, that competitive when you're competing level of pickleball is much different than rec pickleball.
Right.
Like, no, this is serious. This is real. I'm going to push as hard as I can. And what was funny is we ended up playing 8 or 9 games for hours.
Yeah.
And my stamina just, it outperformed. You get some of these guys that are out there that got some weight on them, and 2 or 3 games they can compete, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nah.
No, it's funny that you say that, because like the rec versus the competition, like it makes it more competitive or whatever. Because I'm like, everyone's taking it so seriously, and I'm like, the prize is like a trophy and a dinner to Nora's that they're probably not even going to use, But I'm just like, or they will use, but they don't need to use the gift card. And I'm just like, what is it? Why are they so intense when that's what the prize is? But I don't think it's about the prize. I think
it has nothing to do with the prize.
Yeah.
My whole life's about winning.
Oh, yeah.
It's about winning. It's just about winning. I don't even know why I would exist on the planet if I wasn't trying to do better and win. And the winning is never about the other person. I don't give a shit about saying I beat you. If anything, I'm the guy that never says that. It's about proving it to me. I don't know what it is. It's an internal thing.
Well, I'm competitive too, and I like to win too. And I feel like that's why sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to get invested in that, because I know I'm not going to win, and it's going to drive me crazy. So I don't even want to go to that space. I'll just opt out.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
If I can't compete appropriately.
Yeah. Is that why you don't play games?
Yeah. I bet if we break down the psychology around it.
I love playing games and you hate playing games. There's only like one game that you play that because you're good at it.
I'm good at it. It caters to my natural skill of being able to take a visual and articulate it using my words. I think that is funny. It's kind of, I'm not a big fan of board games, and I wonder if it's because I got to learn the fucking game. It's kind of like, you generally speaking, when the board games are broken out, everybody's been having a few drinks, and then it turns into like trying to learn the game from 12 people, and I'm just like, everybody's screaming at you, telling you, let me tell everybody.
But to me, that is so fun.
Oh,
it's
God.
so exhilarating.
Nothing about that sounds fun.
I'm like, yes.
That is so funny. Yeah, I have no interest. Yeah, I mean, no, I have no interest. I guess and then as I get older, it's like, I'm more like, I'm just not going to play. No. And then they're like, come on. I'm like, no, peer pressure just doesn't really work anymore on me. Like, I'm just not playing. Yeah, but competition, I think that's kind of maybe the topic here that we've naturally rolled into. But it's not about beating.
It's not about the other person.
It's not.
No.
It's about winning for me.
Yeah.
And then I wonder what's behind that. What am I trying to prove to myself? I don't know. But maybe it's not about proving something. See, it's always funny because you can take it in any direction you want. I don't think it's about proving something. I think it's about the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of victory. I think it's about the feeling that you're chasing. You're like, I fucking won.
Yeah.
I won. What does that feel like? That's the trophy.
And I think it's like I'm trying to reflect like with the kids tournaments and stuff that past weekend. I'm like getting teared up thinking about Kennedy, but they just wanted it so bad. And I think it's about wanting something so bad and getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it starts, you say, I want this thing.
Yeah.
And I know that it's going to take X amount of energy, effort, time. And then when you get it, that's the thing, I think. And that's why I think winners just continue to win, because they're hooked.
Yeah.
They're hooked on the feeling. And people that are too intimidated or bashful to jump into the winning space, they just never win. And if you've never tasted it, it's just like, if we never tasted sugar, we wouldn't crave sugar.
Yeah.
But the second you get a little taste, man, you're like, I want more sugar.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing happens with winning, but you've got to figure out And then obviously, thankfully, over 38 years of being on the planet and having gotten that first taste of winning when I was young, which came through sports, and being outside and being a kid that I wanted to learn to ollie, I wanted to learn to kickflip.
Yeah.
I wanted to
accomplishment.
And that felt really freaking good. And anyway, so my point was that first win was difficult when I was 7,
right,
or whatever it was. You know, racing your buddy in school. You know, that's down to 5 years old.
Yeah.
I won. Wow, that felt great.
Yeah.
Who else wants to race?
Right.
You know, I went the whole distance of the monkey bars. Okay. Anybody else want to compete?
Yeah.
You know, that feeling of winning. But so after, 30 years of that, now I can look at a task in front of me and go, well, fuck. At 5, I was beating the monkey bars. I was beating the other kids in a foot race. Yeah, I want to see if I can buy a building, if I can have a second vacation home, if I can own, 3 supercars, if I can. It's really to see if I can do it. I'm going to take that to the next level. It was funny because I was talking to Crystal. This one is going to be a mic dropper or a bombshell. Because juggling all this stuff takes time, energy, and effort.
Yeah.
Having 6 registrations, you've got to register your shit. 6 insurance payments, 6 sets of maintenance for each car. Property taxes on all these other properties, and then repairs and all this shit. I looked at her, I'm like, because we have enough cash flow that if we reduced our bills, I mean, we could just float around the world.
Yeah.
Literally at our leisure. I'm like, what if I just sold everything? And then if people are like, well, why'd you sell everything? I'd be like, because I just wanted to see if I could do it. Wasn't that a great response?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if I could do it,
Yeah.
and I could. And now I'm like, I don't really want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I get it, because I think like Elon Musk, the guy can live anywhere he wants, and he sold all of his houses. And people were like, oh my God, Elon Musk is selling all of his real estate. And then someone asked him why, and he's like, I just don't need it all. I think his answer was even better. I wanted somebody else to enjoy it. Like, I'm taking away from the pot of enjoyment by keeping it and never using it. So I wanted somebody else to enjoy it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but it would just be a response of, I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I did it.
You did.
Yeah, like, I don't even know what's next. I mean, we
Travel.
Yeah, I'd like to travel. And the reason I'd like to travel is I'd like to be a more well-rounded human being.
You just learn so much when you travel.
Yeah, you learn so much. It's like I can only learn so much about Las Vegas.
Right.
I want to learn about different oceans. I want to learn about different species. I want to learn about different mountains. Like, you could go talk to like a established older gentleman or woman that travels, and they fucking know about these different places.
Yeah.
And it's like fascinating.
And it's not even going to learn. It's like going and just being in that environment, you learn.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because I can't retain the information by reading a book.
Right.
But if I hung out in the Malaysian mountains for 4 days, I'd fucking know everything about it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't leave me. Yeah, we'll see where this interesting journey takes us. It's all quite fascinating. It is fascinating. It's so fascinating. I want to speak more candid, but I don't want to sound too full of myself, but I will. Just because I think it's a value add to people out there. So something that I think is fun for us to discuss is this great life that we live, right? And it's on display. And it's a great life for us. Doesn't mean it's the greatest life.
Right.
I think it's a great life, but that's all that matters is what I think.
Right.
But we could keep it a big secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, us being on social media isn't supporting our lives.
Right.
Like, it's not like we're making enough money there that could pay for it. And if we stop, we would lose our livelihood. No, that shit's fucking paid for.
Yeah.
Without that. But it would be a disservice to keep it. It'd be a shame to keep it a secret. Because I remember when I was up and coming, I had to be around people and see people that had made it.
Right.
I remember watching Scott Weber drive around in his Porsche. Scotty Gahan driving around in his Porsche. Joe Kennedy rocking his SL 500 and his $1,000 Ferragamo shoes. I remember seeing success and going, it can be done. And without seeing it, I don't know if I'd have had the faith or the hope that it can be done.
Yeah, it's about exposure.
Yeah.
Like, you know that those things are possible. It's just like a lot of most little kids, you know, they only experience like a doctor, a policeman,
yeah,
and a firefighter, and a teacher.
Wow.
So all little kids, all they want to be is a policeman, a firefighter, a teacher, or a doctor, because that's all they know. That's all they've been exposed to.
You're very right.
So I think like you putting it out there, people that wouldn't normally be exposed to that or aren't in the environment to be exposed to it are now exposed to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And on a local, tangible, touchable level.
Right. You're not a celebrity.
No. Right.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I always say I don't want to be a celebrity because I want to go to a restaurant and be able to cuss and talk shit.
But it's like when people see celebrities with all that stuff, it's like, oh, well, they're a celebrity.
Right.
You know, they're an actress. That's not attainable.
Right.
But when you're a normal person that's just conducting business, you know, it seems more attainable.
Yeah. I really hope that one sinks in for people. I think it's really important. And you got to do it tastefully.
Yeah.
And if your intentions are to truly inspire, then you will naturally do it tastefully.
Right.
If your intentions are to rub it in, then you're just rubbing it in.
Right.
And I don't think people will be receptive to that because eventually that'll be a turnoff. But so if you're like, just witness what we're doing, catch a front row seat and be inspired by it.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I don't know. So my point wasn't getting to all that. Was I walk outside this morning to put the golf cart back in the garage, and I'm like looking at my front yard. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I had a moment of extreme gratitude, and just so cool because it's still fun and cool to me. Like, I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's not numbing. Like, I'm like, dude, the golf cart's sick. But then I look to my right and I'm like, scooter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all like lined up and parked out front. I'm like, I just love that we have all this stuff. But then something that has been sticking with me, and I think it's fun to communicate out loud, and I learned it from another speaker, is it's the law of accumulation. Like in this moment, you're like, damn, Josh, golf cart, 5 scooters. Wow, bro, you really shelled it out. But my response would be, no, I bought that golf cart in 2018 for $2,000. I bought that first scooter in 2019. I bought the second scooter in 2020. I bought the third scooter in 2021. You know, I bought these last 2 scooters in 2022. It's called the law of accumulation, and you need time. And if you buy the right things that have a life span to them, then in 10 years, you'll look back and go, yeah, I've got 4 quads and 3 side-by-sides and a golf cart. And then from first glance, you're like, geez, this guy went and bought everything. Well, I didn't. It's the law of accumulation.
Right.
And I thought that was really fascinating.
No, yeah.
You know, it's how these guys that are 50 have 25 Rolexes.
Right.
And they're like, you got 25 Rolexes?
They didn't buy them all at once.
Buy them all yesterday. I've bought a Rolex a year for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, or I bought one for 10 grand, sold it for 20, and then went and
bought 2
different watches. You know, so the law of accumulation. I think it's an interesting law.